So basically, don't let your guard down. This thing is not to be trusted. It's a sneaky little thing. It's evil. It's harsh. It's resilient. You basically stand no chance of surviving if this thing gets out near you. Cool. What's up, Rat Fam? We are back again with some more SCP creatures. Today we are going to dive into some of the more monsters in this world and see what they're all about. But of course, I'm using your guys' comments from the previous videos for suggestions on which creatures we should cover next. So let's get to it. If you've been here for a minute, you know how this goes. But if you're new here, hi, hello, my name's Kaylena. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you hit subscribe and join the Rat Fam today. For these videos, I like to focus on just the description of the SCP because I just find it really fascinating to know what this monster is said to be and look like and what it does and why it's really scary. But of course, if you want to go on and read the full file of the SCP, I always leave links to the entire files of these creatures down in the video description. First one we're going to dive into today is called SCP-058, and it is Object Class Keter. SCP-058 resembles a bovine heart with 4 arthropod-like legs used primarily for movement and 4 tentacles of adjustable length, covered with razor-sharp spines. Okay, what is this thing? I was not prepared for this. So a lot of these SCPs have nicknames, but for some reason I always forget to read like the nickname of the creature before diving into it. So the name of this one is called Heart of Darkness. And yeah, had I read that, I probably would have went into this knowing a little bit more. SCP-058's tentacles can be whipped. That's very scary. To a distance of 3.2 meters at speeds in excess of 320 kilometers per hour. That is insanely fast and insanely far, and ow. Okay, so that would just dice you right up, I suppose. This is fun. SCP-058 is extremely hostile, like most of them are, and will use every opportunity afforded to it to inflict damage on its surroundings. So this thing is mean. It's mad that it's contained. It doesn't want to be here. It doesn't want you to be here. So it's going to use those little tentacles to get away. I'm just having the weirdest mental image of this thing, and it is truly nightmare-inducing. SCP-058 has been shown to be highly resilient to trauma, so GG's if you try to hurt this thing, and should be approached with caution even when apparently incapacitated. So basically, don't let your guard down. This thing is not to be trusted. It's a sneaky little thing. It's evil. It's harsh. It's resilient. You basically stand no chance of surviving if this thing gets out near you. Cool. It has been recorded reaching a speed of approximately 90 kilometers per hour in short bursts, so this thing's a sprinter, covering distances up to 200 meters, and the ability to accelerate from 0 to 90 kilometers in less than 2 seconds. Again, we get it. This thing is a monster. I mean, this might be the scariest creature ever, and it's weird because it's so tiny you wouldn't really think it'd be scary, but I think that makes it even scarier. Since it's smaller, it can hide, making it that much more terrifying. Sometimes the things you don't see are scarier than the things you do, but in this case, what you do see is just as terrifying as when you don't see it. And just when you thought this thing could not possibly be any creepier, oh, it outdoes itself. You know, I act like I'm new to this channel. I should know this by now. It speaks in a human voice, though no method of producing sound has been observed in its physiology. It speaks with vocal tone and accent of an elderly British male with a slight lisp and a deep voice. SCP-058 talks constantly, regardless of conditions. Even when attacking, its voice and pace of speech go unchanged. The speech of this creature lacks any detectable correlation to events, persons, or exterior location involved with the SCP. If what it's saying doesn't really involve what is happening and in the moment, why does it feel the need to talk? Is it like a distraction? Maybe it makes it to where its movements are unpredictable. Okay, yeah, this thing is truly terrifying. Okay, yeah, okay, now I'm afraid of a heart. Who would have thought? This next one is called SCP-087, and the object class is Euclid. I always want to say Euclid, but it's Euclid. This one is called The Stairwell, and in my very first deep dive explanation of what SCP is, like an overview of the entire universe, this one was mentioned as being one of the most famous ones. So we had a one sentence description of it, but we really didn't go into depths on this one. So I like that we're diving into this because a scary stairwell sounds right up my alley. Oh God, that picture, man. Something about dark stairwells and dark hallways. Ugh. always terrify me. I don't know if it's because like when I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark. So I'm just gonna scroll past that picture. SCP-087 is an unlit platform staircase, so alone, already scary. It doesn't even need to be paranormal. That alone would be enough to scare me. Stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps. Oh, that number, of course. Unlucky 13, right? Before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter, so a very tiny platform. The design of SCP-087 limits subjects to a visual range of approximately 1.5 flights. So you really can't see beyond that. And that's really scary because like I said earlier, what you don't see is sometimes as scary than what you do see. And in this case, I think that is probably very true. A light source is required for any subject exploring this SCP, so I guess bring your own flashlight, as there are no lighting fixtures or windows present. Lighting sources brighter than 75 watts have shown to be ineffective, as SCP-087 seems to absorb excess light. So basically this thing wants that horror movie typical one light on a string type situation, so that the shadows are plentiful and you don't know what's hiding there. Subjects' report and audio recordings confirm the distressed vocalizations from what is presumed to be a child between some ages, because it's redacted, but it looks like a single number and then a double number. So, you know, the kind that when you hear they need help, you'd be more inclined to help them because they're a kid and they seem innocent. But don't be tricked, apparently. The source of the distress calls is estimated to be located approximately 200 meters below the initial platform. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. That gives me goosebumps. I hate that. That is like a horror movie in my mind. No. I'm sorry, little Jimmy. You're staying down there in the dark because I'm not coming. The depth of the descent calculated from Exploration 4, the longest exploration ever, is shown to be far beyond both the possible structure of both the building and geological surroundings. At this time, it is unknown if SCP-087 has an endpoint. So kind of like the whole endless IKEA, you know, you might be there for a really long time. SCP-087 has undergone 4 video recorded explorations by Class D personnel. Each subject conducting an exploration has encountered SCP-087-1. Oh, we love ourselves, you know, a secondary SCP. They're always more terrifying. Which appears as a face with no visible pupils, nostrils, or mouth. So I'm going to see that next time I have sleep paralysis. I just feel it. The nature of SCP-087-1 is entirely unclear, but it has been determined that it is not the source of the pleading. Subjects exhibit feelings of intense paranoia and fear when faced with the secondary SCP, but it is undetermined whether said feelings are abnormal or simply natural reactions. Seeing a face pop up out of the shadows with no discernible features, I think would scare anybody. So that's pretty normal. It's pretty normal. I'd be a little more afraid if you weren't afraid. Oh, great. So on this channel, we don't like elevators and we don't like staircases. So basically, stick to single level buildings. And the last SCP we're going to cover in today's video is called SCP-231, and it is Object Class Keter. And it says that there was an image at one time on this website, but now it's been removed by order and then it's redacted. So use your imagination of what this thing's gonna look like. This one, though, is called Special Personnel Requirements. Interesting. Okay, my curiosities are piqued. So this one does have a description, but it is heavily redacted. Okay, this is going to be really interesting to try to read. How should I proceed, though, when we have a heavily redacted file? I'll say redacted. Sounds a little spookier. But if you guys have another suggestion, definitely leave it down in the comments below. As well as if you have any SCPs you want us to see in future videos, definitely leave those down below too. As you see, we like to use them to make videos. SCP-231-7. Oh, okay. So this is -7. So there's 7 extra entities within this SCP. SCP-231-7 is a redacted female between redacted ages with data expunged. So really not much information there, but maybe we can deduce that it's a person. Okay, so we're gonna go with it's a human, and they're saying it's a female human and it's probably pretty young because the 1 square is a singular number and the second is dual numbers. So I'm gonna guess probably early teens, so maybe between the ages of like 9 and 13. SCP-2311 through 7 were retrieved from redacted following a police raid on a warehouse owned by an organization called The Children of the Scarlet King. Interesting, okay. This is a very fascinating file because it's making them seem like they're just typical children, but we know it's SCP, so it's not going to be. 24 hours after the rescue, SCP-231-1, who has a real name but it's redacted, went into labor pains, giving birth 3 minutes later to SCP, and then that's redacted, and what it looks like is also another full name. So I'm going to say another human, causing a redacted event, resulting in over blank confirmed casualties. I said blank instead of redacted. Redacted is kind of hard to say. Giving birth to this secondary SCP caused death to an unknown amount of people. Why? What was released during that death? Did she give birth to like a demon spawn? Foundation personnel immediately took possession of remaining SCP-231-2 through 7 based on notebooks recovered from the cult, instituted Procedure 110-Montauk to prevent future occurrences. So I'm assuming then that this cult must have been some sort of evil cult that made some deals with something dark, and she's now giving birth to little like demon spawns. Okay, well that was certainly fascinating and very unexpected. Okay, so since that description was very full of holes, let's go back and try to see if we can get a little bit more information out of just like the file, the site and personnel requirements. Maybe there's a little bit of tidbits there that would kind of fill in a few gaps. All personnel assigned to this SCP must rotate out for 1 month of psychological counseling every 2 months on site? What is this thing doing to people? Is it like prying into their brains and like pulling out their deepest, darkest fears and like manipulating them? Personnel who express sympathy towards SCP-2317's plight and or express a desire to rescue or sympathize towards this SCP will be transferred to another project without delay. So this thing has to be like a master manipulator that has tried to get people to feel bad for it, probably because it's a kid. Okay, so this thing is like Satan spawn. But I think that does it for today's deep dive into some more SCP creatures. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out this video and this channel and this community, the Rad Fam. And like I said, if you have any suggestions for future SCP you want to see us to cover, or anything else for that matter, definitely leave them down in comments below. I love to read what you guys say. And until next time, keep with Radness, and I'll see you real soon. Bye! Ugh, Charlie's not here, but all his cat hair is.